It's your boy, Sir Splash.
Say you're gonna beat Splash, put it on the Bible. Whole game's trash, boy, put it on a cycle. Money talks, me talk, really I don't understand. Said he wants smoke, but they all do the running man.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Sir Splash, and today, this video is a result of, people seeming to enjoy my video on what heroes in comic books would be Jedi and which Jedi they would be most like as characters. So, as a response to that, I will be doing today 10 comic book villains that would be ideal Sith and who exactly they resemble from Star Wars as far as Sith. So, we started with DC last time, so today we will start with Marvel. First villain is Bullseye. Now, Bullseye is well known for being the counterpart to Daredevil, as well as he served in the Dark Avengers replacing Hawkeye. Bullseye is absolutely crazy, although he is at the same time still a combat genius. He's most well known for his ability to pretty much hit anybody with anything. He can weaponize anything. He's a highly skilled assassin, very lethal with any kind of weapon. Now, for Bullseye, I resemble him most to Darth Maul. My reason for this is Darth Maul we saw after episode 1 when he got cut in half by Obi-Wan and he became a cyborg. He lost his mind for a while and was on the verge of insanity. However, he was still wildly capable as a combatant. He was actually brilliant as a fighter. It was one of the most skilled assassins of his time. And most importantly, he specialized in physical combat and blade work. And Bullseye's specialty is melee combat and assassination. Now, because of both of them and their roles in their universe as assassins, both of them being pretty much insane while at the same time having some semblance of genius to them, I gotta compare those two as far as villains. Now, next up for Marvel, my boy Dr. Doom, Victor Von Doom, is an absolute genius, probably number 2 in Marvel, with Richard Reed, his rival, having a slight edge over him. Doom is the king of Latveria, highly egotistical. He is a trained sorcerer and a genius in technology, as well as several other areas of science. Doom is most well known for his, like I said, ego and his need to rule, his need to dominate. Now, who do I see him resembling as a Sith? Darth Sidious. Darth Sidious, too, is also wildly powerful, wildly capable, which is the same thing for Dr. Doom. And he sees himself as the destined ruler. The reason this is so much like Dr. Doom is Dr. Doom once convinced the Panther God that he was most suited to rule the world, which the Panther God agreed despite Dr. Doom being so extreme, so harsh. He is, at the end of the day, a very good leader in that he protects his people, his country. You don't come to Latveria and start shit, because Dr. Doom's gonna finish that shit. So, yeah, like you really don't do that. And he doesn't answer to anybody. He'll tell you to eat a dick. Darth Sidious is the same way in that the Yuuzhan Vong, an alien species who invaded in the time of the New Jedi Order with Luke Skywalker, they knew of Sidious and they did not invade during Sidious's time. The reason for this is Sidious did not dick around and he would have eradicated them as fast as possible. He despite him being evil, all that, he was a true ruler of his galaxy. You didn't come to his galaxy and start shit. So because of their genius, because of their destiny, at least in their view, and sometimes it's actually considered correct, their need to rule, I compare Dr. Doom to Darth Sidious. Next, Taskmaster. Tony Masters is widely famous for his ability to have photo reflexes. Basically, if he sees someone fight, he can copy their style instantly and memorize it and add it to his own style. He is famous for training villains, as well as being a bodyguard and one of the most skilled fighters in the Marvel Universe. Who do I compare to him in the Star Wars universe? I give it to Count Dooku. Count Dooku is also very well known for his absolute skill in combat. Both are very nasty when it comes to melee combat. Dooku is also very wise, very talented, very smart, very analytical, same thing as Tony Masters. And both were known for training. Count Dooku trained several characters, including General Grievous and Asajj Ventress. And we saw that, as well, it's when he was a Jedi, he trained Qui-Gon Jinn. And Taskmaster trained several villains. So because of their prowess as fighters, their genius as fighters, and their teaching methods, as well as their ability to teach bad guys and just people in general, I compare Taskmaster to Count Dooku. Next is Loki. Loki, the brother of Thor, has always been a heel. He's the god of tricking and mischief. First Avengers villain. Loki, he is evil. He has some good moments, but mostly he's just here to fuck shit up. The person I compare him to is Asajj Ventress. Asajj Ventress is most known for her portrayal in the Clone Wars. She was originally a Jedi, turned crazy, turned bad. She trained under Count Dooku, became an absolute beast, and she was despite her not being the strongest, most powerful, she was very dangerous. If you slept on Asajj Ventress, you were gonna get your throat slit. Same thing goes for Loki. Despite him being, the god of mischief, just fucking around all the time, you can't underestimate Loki because he'll bust your ass if you do. So because of their nature, which is to be stealthy, sneaky, but actually wildly capable, I compare Asajj Ventress to Loki. Finally, for the Marvel side, we got my boy Juggernaut. Cain Marko became the avatar of the god Sidorak. Sidorak, the Demon Lord, imbues him with specific powers, which makes him pretty much invulnerable to most physical attacks. He has an infinite kinetic shield around his body that stops attacks even from characters like Mjolnir, Thor's hammer. Juggernaut also, once he starts going, he can't be stopped. We've only seen it stopped once by Celestial Armor Hulk, but besides that, Juggernaut can't be stopped once he starts getting going, and he absolutely just tears through his opponents. Who do I compare to him on the villain side? Darth Malgus. Darth Malgus, one of the best but most obscure Sith of all time. Malgus was known for being hardcore on the battlefield. He would run through you. He invaded the Jedi Temple, was running through the Jedi, and he was rarely straight up met in physical combat. He was physically superior to pretty much all his opponents and would beat them into submission, but he could be finessed. Which is the same thing for Juggernaut. Juggernaut could be finessed, and that's usually how he's beaten. So because of their nature, which is to run through the enemy and beat them down, as well as they can be finessed, and it takes finesse to beat them, I compare Juggernaut to Darth Malgus. Now, for the DC side of things, first villain we have Superboy Prime. Superboy Prime is a Superman from a different universe. It was supposed to be the real universe. After the destruction of his universe, he basically went crazy. And when he came over to the main DC universe, he saw the heroes, saw that they were being mad edgy, and lost his shit, beat the shit out of them. Originally just beat the crap out of Superboy, and all the superheroes showed up, and he went to town on them. Stupid powerful. Eventually every punch he was throwing was retconning DC. Now, who do I compare to Superboy Prime? I compare Nightfall Vader. Nightfall Vader was Anakin pre-suit and seen as approaching his potential. So this Nightfall Vader, for a specific period of time, was considered pretty much unbeatable. He was absolutely destroying and slaughtering Jedi Masters like they were fodder. He was considered massively above Count Dooku, who, as I've already stated before, was wildly powerful. And he was supposed to soon eclipse Darth Sidious in power. His potential was crazy. Now, Superboy Prime's the same way. For a certain period of time, Superboy Prime was running through everybody. He just was pretty much unbeatable for that time, which was the same case for Nightfall Vader. So because of their dominance and their actual mindset that they are in the right, Nightfall Vader believed he was in the right because he was trying to save his family. I compare Superboy Prime to Nightfall Vader. Next is Bane. Bane's the most famous for his breaking of Batman. Basically broke Batman's back. He's a wildly capable fighter, trained with the League of Assassins, and he's also enhanced by his venom toxin, which makes him stupid strong. And he's a genius villain to Batman. Who do I compare to him in Star Wars? Actually, someone with the same name, Darth Bane. Darth Bane was an absolute genius, which Bane is also, as well as he was a complete freak of nature in combat. He was like 6'7", 270, just massive, and physically could beat down his opponents, was also smart enough to finesse them and he was one of the genius Sith of his time and of all time. Actually created the Rule of Two, which led to the Sith eventually producing powerhouses like Darth Sidious. So because of their freakish strength, their actual combat prowess, but on top of being bulldozers, they are very smart. They're very genius. Bane is very close to Batman in terms of intelligence. So because of their intelligence as well as their physical dominance, I compare Bane to Darth Bane. Next, Darkseid. Darkseid is most famous for being the villain of the Justice League. Darkseid is the ruler of Apocalypse, one of the new gods, the archetype of evil in DC. Essentially, he's just here to kill shit and ruin people's days. So for Darkseid, I compare him to Vitiate. Emperor Vitiate from the Old Republic, the man that beat Revan. Vitiate was one of the most powerful Sith of all time. He was considered the epitome of evil, the epitome of Sith. Actually, when he showed his true nature to Lord Scourge, it was described as void, the complete horror of nothingness, the complete horror of evil. Because of their power, the fact that they feel they should dominate anywhere, which is how Darkseid feels. He's literally he feels like he should dominate everybody. And the fact that they're pretty much evil incarnate, with Darkseid literally being the archetype for evil and Vitiate being the representative of evil, I compare Darkseid to Emperor Vitiate. Next, Doomsday. Doomsday was created in a lab, test tube baby, killed multiple times over and over to become eventually resistant to pretty much all forms of death. He eventually would go on to kill the scientist that made him and run amok, and he especially is known for his hate boner for Superman and being the first person to kill Superman. Darkseid also regenerates, has crazy, wild physical properties and physical capabilities. Now, who do I compare Doomsday to? Savage Opress. Savage Opress is the brother of Darth Maul. He was a physically augmented Night Brother, massive in size, pretty much bigger than everybody he fought in the Clone Wars, and would go around brutalizing people. He just beat them into submission with raw power. And despite him not being the smartest, despite him not being the most skilled, the most knowledgeable, he was considered a growing threat just because of his power, his resiliency, and his destructive capabilities. So because of their nature, which is to just kill shit, their almost unrivaled strength, their savage nature, their brutality, and their resiliency, with Doomsday adapting to overcome damage and Savage being a tank, I compare Doomsday to Savage Opress. Finally, we have Deathstroke from DC Comics. Deathstroke is Slade Wilson. He was a highly trained military combatant who underwent a super soldier serum to become like the ultimate warrior. He would go on to become the ultimate assassin. He is somewhat crazy. He actually got a bullet in the back of his head for pissing off his wife because, you know, he didn't really care about his family. But Slade is considered the most talented bounty hunter in DC. Although I would say, you know, you got to put Lobo above him because of who Lobo can take down. But in terms of Earth, Deathstroke's definitely the premier assassin and bounty hunter, as well as a brilliant tactician and skilled fighter. Who do I compare him to? I can compare him to Darth Vader. Darth Vader in his suit is not the same as Nightfall Vader. Darth Vader was an absolute combat genius, a psychological warfare expert, one of the most talented duelists we've ever seen. And if Darth Vader's on your ass, he's gonna get you. This is the same case for Deathstroke. Like, Darth Vader had the moment where he's completely surrounded by rebels, at least hundreds and hundreds of rebels. They said, "You're surrounded," and he said, "All I'm surrounded by is fear and dead men. And then we have someone like Deathstroke who has taken on the Justice League without blinking. And he said, I'm smarter than all of you. I can beat all of you. I'm not worried about you bitches. So yeah, they definitely are the same in terms of being tactical geniuses, absolutely capable as fighters, finesse lords as far as being able to trick people and overcome tactically overwhelm people and just dominate their opposition. That's why I compared Deathstroke to Darth Vader. Anyways, let me know what you think about these comparisons. If you agree with who I picked and who I compared them to, let me know down below. Join my Patreon, join my Discord, so we can communicate in the Patreon to support me as I try to grow my channel. If you would have added anybody, let me know down below and tell me who you would compare them to. Anyways, like, subscribe, comment. It's been your boy, Sir Splash, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.